Yo, what is going on, everybody? You have Tone here, the coach of the Maine Clawitzers, and I am back bringing you guys the team builder for the Major Pokemon League Season 6, Week number 6. For this week, we are taking on the Calgary Flame Wheels, and our good friend Deebz also is a coach in the GBA D League, so be sure to check him out. He's an awesome guy and a great dude in general. So, yeah. Just to clarify, and also just feel free to check out all the other coaches in the Major Pokemon League as well. Be sure to check them out for matches every Friday. So, I am recording this team builder a few days before I battled Deebz, and this is mainly because of the fact that I am not very good at remembering. So, what I want to do here is get this out of the way so that way I can look back on it and maybe have some idea of why I have these EV spread, but I want to do this before I forget off the top of my head why I have these investments and whatnot. So yeah. So first and foremost, as you guys mentioned, if you guys remembered the last video I did for the MPL, we took on the Uzi Gunner and the Bullet Punch Club. We took a 3-0 loss in that game, so we're now 2-3 with a -7 differential. So not really good record or differential for that matter heading into the second half of the season. And Deebz is also like us, being 2-3. Even funnier is the fact that we've both won and lost our matches at the exact same weeks. So we're both on 2-game losing streaks. We both won week 1 and week 3, and we lost week 2. So yeah, kind of a doppelganger effect in terms of that match. But Deebz' team, he has a very, very scary threat, as you see on the right side of your screen. He has access to the Mega Mawile, Dragonite with Z-moves, Necrozma, Porygon 2, Hippowdon, Sandslash with Z-moves, Sneasel, Primarina, Tornai, Darmanitan, and the Electro. And as you see, I have a new addition on my roster as we dropped Cobalion and picked up Breloom. Now, this is more... this is just pretty much adding on even more to the whole Jolt GBA D-League team meme that I did here. As the main reason why I dropped Cobalion for Breloom was mainly because of the fact that there wasn't really an instance of where Cobalion actually can come in and do something that either my Celesteela couldn't do or it already covered. And what Breloom gives me that Cobalion kinda didn't was the priority I dropped when I initially dropped Lycanroc Dusk for the Kyurem Black. So in the very sense, I want to get that back, and I at least want to have a ground resist in the very sense of the word, and a fighting type if need be. So Breloom pretty much covered all those bases for me in that regard. So let's just jump right into the matchup here. So, looking at Deebz' team, he has a lot of perennial threats to my team. For starters, Necrozma. The combination of Photon Geyser plus Heat Wave just decimates my Celesteela Mega Venusaur defensive core. And then, while Psychic plus Fire coverage is resisted or immune by my Hydreigon, he could easily bring something like Signal Beam on the Necrozma to handle my Hydreigon, and because of Prism Armor, it won't die in one hit to a Dark Pulse, even if I was a modest choice specs Dark Pulse. If he brings some bulk investment, I can just it can live that no problem. But other than that, Hydreigon just has like a very, very bad matchup in general in this game because of the fact that I would like to bring its Scarf to outspeed, like the Torn outspeed. Most likely a Choice Scarf Darmanitan, but at the same time, he has the Mega Mawile, and more importantly, he has a Primarina, which switches in on Hydreigon pretty much for free. I could bring Flash Cannon or be like Physical Iron Tail or whatnot, but the fact of the matter is that will require a lot of predicting, and Deebz is the type of person that would like to play it safe from the get-go and not try to get lured into any obvious predictions or whatnot. So I had to be on my toes for this matchup here. So with that being said, Hydreigon just wasn't a no-go in this game. I wanted to bring Aerodactyl over Swampert, I really did, and the main reason why was, if you look at the matchup, both of our teams are kind of hindered by hazards, his just as much as mine, but the primary objective is to try to get rocks on his side of the field, considering his removal options are pretty much just the Sandslash and Defog Torn and Defog Dragonite. Outside of that, that's pretty much all he has in terms of getting rid of hazards on his side of the field. And of course, my options is just limited to just a Hydreigon and a Aerodactyl. So at this point, it pretty much just comes down to getting up rocks and trying to keep them up for the most part. So that is for me one of my objectives heading into this matchup. There's also the sense that while other teams also feel like Mega Mawile is a threat to their team, my team does not really care much for Mega Mawile at all, because of the fact that I have some good switch-ins to Mega Mawile, being Mega Venusaur for starters. The Arcanine resists both its dual stabs. Swampert can take a hit if need be and retaliate with an Earthquake. So I'm not really all that concerned about Mega Mawile in this matchup. The other Pokemon on this team are much more potential threats to me, being the Dragonite for starters and the Necrozma, as I mentioned. Electrode is actually a threat to my team because my electric immunity is Swampert, and that doesn't really stop him from bringing like Hidden Power Grass on Electrode to knock out my Swampert with a little bit of chip damage. So I had to be very cautious of that in this matchup. So in terms of what I predict Deebz to bring in this game, I'm expecting the Dragonite, Necrozma, the Porygon 2 for sure, and then the last three, the Darmanitan, I feel like is a solid bring. Electrode for sure, and I feel like he would have to have something for that for my Hydreigon, whether it be the Mega Mawile or the Primarina. Leaning more towards the Primarina. Either or can come, but if he doesn't bring Primarina, then his Stealth Rock option becomes Necrozma. And I feel like a more offensive Necrozma would do a lot better in this matchup because of how bulky my team is. And on top of that, Mega Mawile does give him a Stealth Rock option and a check to stuff like my Breloom, my Aerodactyl, pretty much it. But I think if Mega Mawile does come in this game, I think Mega Mawile is going to be a Stealth Rocker here. Hippowdon and Sandslash just do not have a good matchup whatsoever in this game, and anything else can pretty much come at that point, but I really feel as though the Stealth Rocker is either going to be the Mawile or the Necrozma in this game. There's also one other thing I noticed when I was building for Deebz, which I will get into when I get to my second Pokemon, but it's pretty much something to capitalize on early on. Not really early on, but something to capitalize on and something worth trying to exploit in this battle. So with that all out of the way, I'm going to jump right into the team, see what the sets we're bringing, while we're bringing all that stuff. So first set you see on your screen is the Arcanine with Morning Sun Flare Blitz, Roar, and Extreme Speed with max HP, 4 attack, 220 defense, 12 special defense, and 20 speed. It's pretty much the HP and the defense investment guarantees I live an Adamant max attack Stone Edge from Mega Mawile after Stealth Rock damage and the Intimidate. And I'm running enough speed to outspeed an Adamant Sandslash outside of Sand. Like I said, I don't really expect Sandslash to come, but at the same time, I don't want to under prep to the point where if he does bring and try to surprise me, I don't want to just be caught off guard by like something like a Sandslash, even though I have like a Celesteela. But again, I don't want to take any chances. So Arcanine is my response to Mega Mawile. It is my initial check to the Dragonite, try to get the Intimidate off, so if he does go for a Dragon Dance, he'll still be at neutral instead of being at +1. And if he tries to set up in the face of Arcanine, I will just click Roar, phase him out. If rocks are up at the time, I can get that necessary chip damage off on the Dragonite, break the multi-scale, which would be very, very good for my team, and just try to phase around his team, get some chip damage wherever I can in this matchup. So that's pretty much it in terms of Arcanine's role. Like I said, just here to be a response to Mawile, to Dragonite, Darmanitan to a lesser extent. I do have a Swampert, which is my primary switch-in, and to the Sneasel, which is why I'm also packing the Rocky Helmet, just because of the fact that he would have to try to make contact with my Arcanine to get some damage off. I really don't feel as though if he brings that Dragonite, which I'm 100% expecting, I don't think he's going to bring Earthquake. I think for sure he would have to bring a move that can dent my Celesteela, which either Fire Punch or Thunder Punch, one of those two options is definitely coming in this matchup. So I feel like Rocky Helmet would definitely pay dividends in this matchup, like I said. So moving on now to the second Pokemon here, we have our Gardevoir back again. And you see it's running Subtoxic, and this is not only just for the sense of for its bulkier Pokemon. If you look at his team as a whole, which is what I was talking about earlier, he doesn't have the best Fairy Resists. As you can see, his Fairy Resists are Darmanitan and the Mawile, and despite them being resists, they're not really resists in the sense of them not taking that much damage. Because even though my Gardevoir is not running any special attack investment, it only has 4 special attack EVs anyway, this is still going, Moonblast is still going to do a good chunk to the Darmanitan and to the Mega Mawile. And everything else on the team just does not appreciate taking a Moonblast from my Gardevoir, and even more so the Porygon 2. This set is designed to take on the Porygon 2 and use it as setup fodder. As you can see, I'm also running Calm Mind to go along with Moonblast, so after a Calm Mind, Porygon 2 will never break my sub with a Tri-Attack, and if Porygon 2 is not packing Shadow Ball to break my Gardevoir sub, then that's what I call setup fodder, as I can just sub up on a predicted switch into the Porygon 2, I get my sub up, I go for a Toxic here, he goes for a Tri-Attack to break my sub, he'll fail to break my sub, and I get up a free Moonblast. I get damage off on something, which is very, very cool here. I'm running enough, my HP and my special defense investment ensures that Porygon 2's Tri-Attack uninvested will never break my Gardevoir substitute. Unless he gets a crit and he's not packing Shadow Ball, as I said, then I can just freely go for a Calm Mind here and make it even harder for the Porygon 2 to try to break my sub. And if he's already taking toxic damage, he has to play the game of trying to try attack me to break my sub, or go for a recover, give me even more opportunities to set up, attack, or get up another Calm Mind and get some extra leftover recovery in the process. Running enough speed on this Gardevoir just to outspeed an Adamant Max attack, Adamant Max speed, Mega Mawile, and everything slower than that. But and the rest is that just going to defense to take physical attacks a little bit better. Although I'm not really expecting it to take much, to be perfectly honest here, but the added bulk does necessarily help, and it's not going to go to waste as far as I'm concerned. But so far, Gardevoir has been such a good Pokemon, man. It's one of the more underrated mons. Like when I saw like Jolt use it and he was having so much fun with it, and now I'm using it for myself for the first time, and my god, I'm having a blast building with Gardevoir. Like, it's so versatile and it's so much fun. If you've never used Gardevoir in Elite format, I encourage you to give it a try. You will not be disappointed in how well Gardevoir will function for your team. But that's enough about me rambling on about Gardevoir. I already talked about its roles and whatnot, its functionality. In this game, this is one of my win cons in this game, if possible, but this just does so much work against this team from a matchup standpoint. I cannot be happier about trying to get this thing off. So, moving on from Gardevoir, next up we have the Mega Venusaur with Sludge Bomb, Hidden Power Fire, Leech Seed, and the Synthesis. Now, another flaw about Deebz' team is the fact that since he no longer has a Grass type, he dropped Decidueye for the Hippos, for the Hippowdon, the Sandslash. The fact that he no longer has the Grass type means he has no Leech Seed switch-ins. So once I get off a Leech Seed on something, I can just freaking try to switch out, expecting to go for an attack. I can just keep Leech Seeding and whittling away at his team via that option. Now, I do have senses on this Venusaur. I did kind of hesitate a little bit between bringing it or not bringing it, just on the slight off chance he does bring that Hippowdon to mitigate the recovery I get back from the Synthesis, but at the same time, Hippowdon should not really be trying to stay in on a Mega Venusaur, considering that Giga Drain is always a potential option in the back of the opponent's mind. So I figured Sludge Bomba's Hidden Power Fire is the best way to go in this matchup, just because whatever I don't hit with Sludge Bomb, mainly the Mega Mawile I have Hidden Power Fire for, and then everything else speaks for itself. So mainly, under normal circumstances, this would be a more defensive Pokemon, but I'm running an all bulky offensive set just because of the fact that Mega Venusaur doesn't necessarily have to be super bulky in this matchup, as even without the added bulk in like special defense or whatnot, I can still take a Modest Choice Spec Psychic from Primarina, retaliate with a Sludge Bomb, and I'm bringing up Special Attack Investment to guarantee knock out a 0 bulk Primarina after Stealth Rock with Sludge Bomb, and the rest I just threw into Special Defense. I'm running up Speed for Mega Mawile, and the rest I just put through its defenses because nowhere else to put them. But yeah, that's the general idea with Mega Venusaur. It also gives me a way to deal a bit more damage to Porygon 2. I can do more damage to more of his bulkier mons and be a more potent threat to like Primarina and the Sneasel if possible. So that's my Mega Venusaur set. Next up is the Celesteela, my main, my secondary win con, or my primary win con, excuse me. This is designed to try to clean up in the late game when all of my opponent's mons are either whittled down or Toxic has done its damage to the point where Celesteela can just come in, get up with Autotomize, and then just try to sweep them from there. There isn't much else to say about this. Again, taking advantage of the fact that he doesn't have a Grass type, meaning I can run Leech Seed on this. Heavy Slam plus Earthquake is just so good against his team because of the fact that his Heavy Slam resists are all destroyed by Earthquake, being the Darmanitan and the Electrode. I still get off some good damage on the Mawile too, even though it doesn't resist Heavy Slam. But nonetheless, this is putting in, the Celesteela puts in a good amount of work. All I just need is to whittle down the Porygon 2 and the Hippowdon if he decides to bring that as well. Same thing with Mega Mawile or all that stuff. So I'm running a more bulkier set. It makes it a lot easier for me to set up on his more passive Pokemon. It also helps me if I get up with Autotomize and I don't get picked off by like a Life Orb, Ice Shard, or a Choice Banded Ice Shard from a Sneasel. It makes my life a little bit easier. And like I said, Heavy Slam with Earthquake is still doing a good chunk of damage. And then with Leech Seed and Leftovers Recovery, no Z move this time, just because of the fact that I feel like the recovery with Leftovers would help me out a little bit more in this matchup, especially if I had to take my especially if I had to let my Celesteela take any certain hits, specific hits. But I'm gonna try to preserve my Celesteela as best as I possibly can in this game. So to further aid my Celesteela here, next up we have the Roost 3 attacks by Kyurem Black, which I've pretty much been bringing since I acquired it. With Ice Beam, Fusion Bolt, Roost, and Earth Power with 12 attack, max special attack, and 244 speed. With enough, the speed is enough to outspeed a Jolly max speed Dragonite. There was no sense in trying to speed tie with a Darmanitan because of the fact that if you bring Choice Spark Darmanitan, it will still end up being a speed tie, and I figured just go try to get as much damage as I possibly can off with my Kyurem. So if I have the ability, if my opponent is whittled down with the combination of Toxic and Leech Seed, Kyurem Black's job is a lot easier in this game because of the fact that it doesn't really have much to in terms of clicking buttons and whatnot, it's just going to be very, very easy for Kieran Black to just spam Ice Beam, considering his Ice Resist is either going to be Mega Mawile, which drops to Earth Power afterwards, Darmanitan, which would never switch in on the Kieran Black in the first place, and Primarina, which will go down to the combination of Ice Beam plus Fusion Bolt, unless he is like a Conberry variant of Primarina. But other than that, this Kieran was just trying to take advantage of the potential stats I can spread about with my team, Elite Seed, and all that stuff. So, pretty straightforward. Again, and lastly, I'm running Mild Nature on my Kieran with a Rash Nature, just on the off chance he decides to download Porygon 2. So the Porygon 2 will get an attack boost on against my Kieran instead of a special attack boost to make things a little bit easier to take on. So that is the Kieran Black, just a very straightforward wall breaker. And then lastly is, of course, the ever popular Swampert set that I've been running this past few weeks. Stealth Rock, Toxic, Ice Punch, and Earthquake with max HP, 4 attack, 156 defense, 92 special defense, and 4 in speed. Speed is just there to avoid speed time with an uninvested Porygon 2. And the special defense is just there to ensure that my Swampert will not be one-hit KO'd by a Modest Choice Specs Hidden Power Grass from an Electrode. As Electrode, like I said earlier, is a huge threat to my team, considering this is my electric immunity, and it's not going to stop me from bringing Hidden Power Grass. And then Thunderbolt Volt Switch, just spam electric stab against my entire team. So, like I said, this is also my primary switch into Darmanitan. Physical attackers in general, I'll try to whittle down with my Swampert here. If he brings like Grass Knot Torn, then I can at least get off the chip damage on the on Swampert, and then go out into my Celesteela and then go from there. But yeah, this main job is to try to get up Stealth Rock against this team, and then Toxic to rule down the Porygon 2, the Hippowdon, so on and so forth. Ice Punch for the Dragonite, so it can't just set up in front of my face. And then Earthquake, of course, is Earthquake, as he doesn't really have a ground switching outside of the Dragonite. So yeah, so this is a little bit longer than I had hoped, but this is the team builder for my Week 6 battle of the Major Pokemon League. I do, guys, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like and all that stuff. Also, feel free to check out all the coaches in the Major Pokemon League. Their links and stuff will be in the description down below, as always. So that's going to be it from me, guys. Again, I hope you guys did enjoy the team builder. And until the next time, guys, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.